Hey guys, Sublord here, back again with another action figure review. Today we'll be continuing our looks at the DC Multiverse Return of Superman subline. Not necessarily a wave, but another character from that particular story arc, we'll say. Although isn't he actually from Revenge of the Green Lanterns and Cyborg Superman actually from Return of Superman? And not for nothing, aren't they all from Reign of the Supermen anyways? I think the titling's a little off here, but nevertheless, we're taking a look at Armored Hal Jordan, who's Green Lantern that got effed up by Mongol, who straight up broke his arm, so he had to borrow Steel's hammer and, I guess, make an armor suit for himself that's very reminiscent of Steel to go whoop some giant yellow alien ass. That said, this of course brought to us by the fine folks over at McFarlane Toys. Unlike the Eradicator video we've already done, either earlier today or yesterday, depending on when these are uploaded, they're going to remain fine folks because on top of the fact that this guy is reuse of a good body mold with a good cape, might I add, in Steel here, who's not going to stand. Alright, hold on, let me adjust his feet. I say good body mold and then I can't get the son of a bitch to stand. Alright. He'll stand now. He just might be leaning back a little bit. There we go. These feet are a little awkward. That's about the only thing I don't care for on this body mold are the feet. They're a little weird. But he's a retool of Steel, who I've always preferred to Superman. His name is cooler. His aesthetic is cooler. He's got this big ass fucking hammer that he just smack you upside the head with. All around, way cooler character, way cooler design, even better backstory. I mean, this dude's from the ghetto. He builds his armor suit, super smart. He's already kind of buff without it. And he throws down in the pit, man. He can whoop some serious ass. He went toe-to-toe with Metallo in the Superman animated series, and that was a great episode. He was also pretty cool in the Justice League Unlimited, if I'm not mistaken. He came back for that. Not as prominent of a role as his showcase in Superman the Animated Series, but still, cool character. And decent enough body mold, albeit for the feet. So before we get too far out of ourselves, why don't we take a closer look at all Hal Jordan has to offer. In terms of accessories, starting off with collectible trading card, getting right into the meat and taters of it. Bio on the back. I already told you what's up with this version of Hal. It's the transition to Parallax, in other words. He goes from Green Lantern to this to, I guess, Parallax, and then Kyle Rayner takes the mantle. He does have the giant sledgehammer of doom. I think it's translucent green, like a construct. That would make sense after all. And it's a little less gummy than the previous hammer, which I haven't had a problem with, but I do live in upstate New York. Maybe if you live in an area that's relatively warm, that's an issue. But on top of that, he does also come with the hockey puck display stand racing with all McFarlane Toys releases, which despite the awkward feet, yeah, he does kind of need a little bit. But his feet are very strange. They don't... You can pop them down all the way, but that's not how they work. You kind of got to pop them up to get them to stand. It's very awkward, these feet. They're not the best feet, by any means, but he can stand. But as far as the sculpt goes, you know, they added some parts. These gauntlets are new. This chest armor is new. This head with this very motocross-esque helmet is new. I think the pauldrons are probably the same. No, actually, are they the same? I think they are. They are. They're the same. Possibly the belt, the boots also appear to be the same. Yeah, the boots are the same. So, yeah, he's got reuse, but he does have some new parts to make him stand out, unlike the Eradicator, which is a cheap, easy repaint that should have really just been an alt head with another figure. But as far as articulation goes, this guy can actually look up pretty well. Look down a little bit. He can tilt. He can rotate. This head was pretty tight on mine out of the box, but I did get it working without heat, surprisingly. Shoulders pop up. Not the best on the hinges, unfortunately. Both of mine, there's like no ratchet whatsoever. They're not like floppy. Like you could see, they're not like going down very easy, but that hammer's weight does weigh them down quite a bit, so that kind of sucks. He does have that beautiful butterfly, as well as the rotation, bicep swivel, double elbow, works okay. Ball hinge wrist, that works okay. Torso can lean that far forward, this far back. It can rotate a little bit, not a tremendous amount, but it can move. You can tilt side to side. Let's get the ball joint in the waist, which is very tight. I don't feel the need to take this guy apart either. I feel like his torso is tight enough, or will just stiffen up if I leave him alone. So I don't feel the need to go in there and fix anything, but maybe I will for kicks and giggles. But it's not like overly loose, so maybe I'll just leave it. It's not for nothing, this torso kind of hard to pop off, and not for nothing, he does have a glow-in-the-dark Green Lantern logo. You can kind of feel the roughness of the glow-in-the-dark there. Hips will kick out, back down, forward back, thigh cut, double knee. Works okay. They do hyperextend though, so be mindful of that. And he does have a hinged foot with a rocker and a toe joint. That is tight-ish, but not the best. So, you know, kind of middle-of-the-road figure for me. I don't hate it, like, at all. It's actually really cool to get a different take on Hal, but it's not perfect by any means. It's still a McFarlane figure, so it's going to have flaws, but, you know, just seems like lately they've had more flaws than not. I wish they would go out on a high note instead of a kind of a Debbie Downer there. It's a little tricky to get him to balance, though, I will say that much. Yeah, the torso, I might actually go in and tweak that a little bit, but we'll see. We'll see. Standing him back up. He does look pretty cool. I like the aesthetic. I mean, I already liked the steel figure, so there is that. But I think this one is a little bit more fun to handle. He doesn't have the big cape hindering anything, so there is that. But before we wrap this up here, let me actually move the camera up because it's a pretty decent sized figure, all things considered. Make sure he is as centered as can be here. Let's bring in our two regulars, the Mythic Legion's Brother Mandibilith, right there, and the infamous 11 Spawn. I'm not going to tower over everyone today. No, I would say Green Lantern, he's close to the same height. So, yeah, like I said, definitely not towering over everyone today. Old Al. Old Uncle Al there. So, with that being said, it's time now that we wrap things up with some final thoughts. Overall, and aside from the disc hinges and the shoulders being a little loose on my copy, I have to say, of the two characters from the Return of Superman we've looked at over the course of the past day, or a couple days, depending on when these are uploaded, I'm gonna have to say the good old armored Hal Jordan here is the better of the two. The Eradicator was super lazy, super uninspired, super cheap to make, and, well, they frickin' did it. This guy, there at least appears to be some sort of effort, on top of the fact that the hammer is not as gummy as Steel's. Yes, this guy reuses some of Steel's parts, but obviously torso's got some new tooling, gauntlets have some new tooling, head is new, possibly the belt is new, I gotta double check that, but at the end of the day, there's a little bit of effort put into this one, and that's really all you need. You don't need brand new sculpts all the time, but you need a little bit of effort, a little bit of thought, and a little bit of care goes a long way. All you other toy companies that also are notorious for half-ass and shit. Bro. So, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Until next time, I'll catch you guys later.